Hi, I'm John Fanestil, and in this presentation I'd like to bring you up to date on latest developments at the Foundation for Change, a progressive community foundation promoting causes for social justice in the San Diego-Tijuana region. Let's begin with a quick review of the foundation's proud history. Although not incorporated as a 501c3 organization until 1995, the work of the San Diego Foundation for Change began in 1983. When a group of San Diego donors, enamored of the work of the Los Angeles-based Liberty Hill Foundation, began to pool money to support grassroots community projects dedicated to change, not charity. In 2008, we celebrated the organization's 25th anniversary and honored Victoria Danzig as the organization's founder. Across its first quarter century, the foundation awarded over $1 million in grants to progressive groups that were either too new, too small, or too controversial to receive support from more established philanthropic organizations. A community-based grant-making committee, with members having deep roots in San Diego's hardest-to-reach communities, helped to identify leaders and projects that other more traditional foundations so often overlooked. We celebrate this history of planting seeds of change, and are proud to have played a role in the launch of many organizations familiar to progressive San Diegans. Listed here are just a few. Recently, though, leaders at the Foundation for Change made a number of bold decisions that launched the organization in a new strategic direction. First, the board determined to make a significant investment in developing a professional staff. This commitment has resulted in a number of strategic hires. Second, they determined to take seriously the changing demographics of the San Diego-Tijuana region. Did you know that communities of color now comprise a majority of San Diego County residents, and that a language other than English is the primary language spoken in more than 1 out of 3 San Diego homes? Did you know that Tijuana is one of Mexico's fastest growing cities, adding almost 100,000 people to its population every year? In another presentation, I'll have much more to say about the implications of these changes for the future of philanthropy in our region. Third, the Foundation committed to do more than disperse grants, and so began to offer sustaining support to its grantees, bringing them together in a capacity-building program offering a rich mix of opportunities for leadership development, organizational strategy, and networking. In this way, the Foundation for Change is now doing more than planting seeds of change. We are developing leaders, organizations, and networks that give us hope about fulfilling our mission, which we now describe this way. Our mission is to nurture movements for social justice in the San Diego-Tijuana border region. Even as we have embraced this expanded mission for the organization, we have retained a number of abiding commitments. First, we've retained our commitment to progressive values like justice, inclusivity, and compañerismo, while combining these values with values that are characteristic of best practices in the field of philanthropy. Second, we've retained our commitment to a community-based grant-making committee. This committee keeps us connected to our region's marginalized communities, but committee members are now being resourced more intensively by expert staff. We remain committed, all of us, to learning from and with our grantees, and reject the paternalism that so often characterizes philanthropic relationships. Finally, we have retained an expansive vision and remain committed to dreaming big. We still anticipate that the Foundation for Change will someday become a go-to foundation for progressive philanthropists and innovative leaders committed to causes of all kinds, people wanting to make change happen on both sides of the border. Even while embracing this new articulation of our vision, the Foundation for Change has had to confront the realities of the current economic crisis, as has every nonprofit organization. In some respects, the force of the external crisis served to reinforce the same conclusion drawn from our own internal self-assessments. A foundation of our size could not pretend to be all things to all people. There was no alternative. We had to sharpen our strategic focus. Of course, the Foundation for Change was not altogether without strategic focus. In fact, as unapologetically progressive foundation, It occupied a distinctive niche within the local philanthropic market, but it had never been able to occupy this niche very forcefully and had never mobilized resources sufficient to the task. After much deliberation, we determined that for the present time we would concentrate our resources strategically in our region's immigrant and border communities. This would prove a crucial decision very quickly, as it turns out, and that it helped us to stand out to potential philanthropic partners. This strategic focus has now been the driving force for several years behind every decision at the Foundation for Change, from the staff we have hired, to the grants we have awarded, to our engagements in the public arena. Third, we began to organize our grant cycles around focus funds, mobilizing dollars around specific issues of concern. In each of these instances, we retain our strategic focus on immigrant and border communities and began to build extensive relationships and networks in them. Finally, and in fact only because of our other strategic commitments, we began to attract the attention of larger foundations who began to collaborate with us as a local intermediary with demonstrated capacity to work on very specific problems with very specific populations that were beyond their reach from high-rise offices in San Francisco or New York. Already we're beginning to see the payoff from our sharper strategic focus and increased discipline. First, we are seeing a proliferation of philanthropic partners, as is seen in this display of our current supporters. Second, we're granting more dollars than ever before, as demonstrated in this chart showing grants awarded in each of the last 4 years. Third, we are offering more hands-on support and development opportunities to our many grantees. To catch a glimpse of the work we're now doing beyond the grant, please see the short video on our website's homepage, chronicling our recent training offered to over 250 leaders from immigrant and border communities, being trained as census advocates at Hoover High School. For all the progress of the last few years, and all the progress we have made on so many fronts, the Foundation for Change still faces the same central challenge confronting most small nonprofit organizations, that of securing sustainable funding to support our core staff and operations. Until the larger economic climate improves and we're able to launch an endowment for this purpose, we'll need to be very attentive to our organization's bottom line and build our own capacity, even as we seek to help our grantees build theirs. First, we continue to rely on a core group of committed individual donors. In each of the last several years, key donors have stepped up to meet our annual budget. This chart shows the steady increase of the Foundation's top gifts in recent years. Without the support of generous donors like these, we would not have survived the recent crisis in nearly as strong a shape as we have. We are indebted to them. Second, we have put in place a strategy screen, stipulating that no new programs will be launched without adequate funding of staffing and administrative support. This ensures that as we grow our programmatic work, we keep a sharp eye on the Foundation's fiscal and infrastructural bottom lines. Third, we have grown our board of directors already from 13 to 19 members, and the board has embraced more than ever its core responsibility of securing funding for the organization. Finally, we have developed a comprehensive fundraising plan for 2010. Through this plan, we are organizing and mobilizing donors around 3 causes that correspond to our growing. These are causes to which our core constituents are passionately committed. We call these 3 causes health for all, democracy for all, and equality for all. The phrase for all points directly to our current strategic focus on immigrant and border communities, as people in these communities suffer the greatest degree of injustice on matters of basic human rights. At the same time, these causes point to our larger progressive vision, as suggested by one of our favorite slogans, "We are all in this together." And finally, the slogans point to our long-term vision of becoming a go-to foundation for progressive San Diegans. In a world in which so many powerful forces are dedicated to pitting people against each other, we need a foundation that is dedicated to progressive values and to the cause of social justice for all. Thanks very much for your attention. To learn more about the latest developments of the Foundation for Change, please visit us on the web, or don't hesitate to give me a call.